We are recording. What?
Hello.
Hi. I don't know if you noticed, but I've tried to make my background a little bit spooky
I was just admiring the skull on
today.
your, well, for me it's your right hand side, but I guess your left. On your pumpkin.
Yeah, there's a pumpkin there. You can't really see it, but in the mirror, it
Ooh,
glows, which is kind of cool.
ghost pumpkin.
Yeah.
Speaking of ghosts, I don't know if you do have crumpets in America, but I bought ghost shaped crumpets today from Asda, which is a British supermarket. I think they're part of Walmart, or they're owned by Walmart. But I was very excited by these ghost shaped crumpets I'm going to eat this weekend.
Okay. Dumb question. What's a crumpet? I know I've heard this is so embarrassing to ask because it's like you've heard it in stories for 20 years, but I don't know what a crumpet is. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's a very good question. So they're kind of hard to describe, but they're usually round and they have loads of like little holes in the top. And they're kind of a bready texture, but maybe more chewy. And then you put them in the toaster and they go really crisp on the outside. So they have like a crisp top and bottom. And then you put butter on and the butter all melts into the holes. And they're just delicious.
Are
I guess
they
that they're in the bread category.
okay? So they're not a cookie or a biscuit, as you
No,
would say.
no, yes, they're more like you'd have it with
English
butter,
muffin.
maybe like jam or like, Marmite on.
I think we call them English muffins.
The English muffins are slightly different because
Oh, are they?
yeah, I feel like they're in the garage fridge, or I'd show you. I've got a picture
Okay.
on my phone. Because muffins are more just like a bread. I feel like we have too many breakfast things. I'm gonna show you a picture.
So for
I think
those of
they're
you
made from
who don't, who are new, my name is Emily, and this is my dear friend
Sophie.
Sophie, and we are a slow fashion rebel. We don't, oh, that looks so delicious.
So I think they're not yeasted. They're like a batter, and they're basically poured. Sorry, I'm just interrupting the slow fashion rebel. I'm in priorities here.
I was just gonna,
Basically, you go.
I was just gonna say, we are gonna get to crafting eventually, but so much of what Sophie and I talk about is like, what is this food in England and what is this food in America? Because we both love food, so I hope that you do too. So anyways,
Yeah.
that was all I was gonna say.
And breakfast is the most important meal of the
Yes.
day. Everyone needs to know what a crumpet is. So basically, I think I've never made crumpets, but I would like to. But yeah, they're not yeasted. So it's essentially a batter that then gets put onto like a flat griddle in a ring, and that's where the bubbles come from. I guess it's the same
Mm,
texture as when you make pancakes and you get those bubbles in the top, but it's just a
yeah.
lot thicker and it becomes a crumpet.
So
So
it's not yeasted, but does it have like baking soda in it or something? It must because it's got the bubbles or baking
yeah,
powder.
it's got baking powder in it. Just like basically just a batter mix, but with baking powder. It's like flour, water, salt.
Yum. I want
That's
a ghost shaped
so
crumpet now.
good. I'm gonna send you a picture after this. At Christmas, they do Christmas tree shaped ones as well.
Ooh, cute. Speaking
But
of
yeah,
which, have you done any holiday crafting or are you getting into?
I have one thing to show you today that I bought as my nod towards early holiday crafting, which is a make your own
Oh,
festive felt Dachshund. Because if anyone doesn't know, I have a miniature Dachshund who's sat on my lap currently asleep. So if you hear any funny noises and groans, it's not me or my tummy. I have just had lunch. But yeah, they do other shapes as well. I thought this was too cute not to get, and I got it from John Lewis, and I think it was £2.50 or something. So it was basically free.
amazing.
I just like the little sparkly antlers. Wow, that's really cute.
So cute.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make that maybe some point this week. But I have heard from Jake, I'm actually really excited about Christmas now because all of our stuff should arrive. So basically, if anyone doesn't know, we've just moved back from New York, so all of our things are still in shipping. But apparently, they have either nearly reached the UK or they're due to reach the UK basically this week.
Yay!
And we'll definitely have our Christmas decorations for Christmas.
Yay!
So we're looking at getting a Christmas tree, pre-ordering one. We're just going to get it delivered. You don't have to fight people at B&Q or whatever to get the best tree.
Yeah.
I feel like Christmas trees are more plentiful in New York. I felt like last year there was basically one on every corner. There was a Christmas tree stand. I feel like here it's harder to get them. Can you go to a garden center?
I think that's like well, in the suburbs in the US, you definitely have to go to like a Christmas tree lot. Which when I was growing up in California, they had at like the park, like the public park in our town. I mean, there were like maybe more than one location, but it was kind of just you went and you shopped for a tree. And so yeah, I think because New York is so big and yet also like every individual business is so small, like, and because it's so hard to transport things is I think why, because most of us don't have cars. So yeah, I think that's why it's on every corner. But it's so nice when that happens because the streets smell good, like it smells so nice. And usually it smells not so great. So
that's on bin day.
So yeah. But yeah, I love ordering a tree because I don't like standing there for an hour trying to argue with your family about like which tree is the best. It's like, just want to get a tree. I don't really care. I mean, like I like them when they're full and but the one time we ordered a tree, like we loved our tree. Like they did a great job. So
yeah, and I think they collect it here as well because in the UK it's harder to get rid of your Christmas trees because I think usually there's one specific day that the council collects it, and other than that you have to take it to a specific Christmas tree recycling place, and we don't have a car, so that'll be really hard for us. So basically if we get it delivered we can also pay for a collection fee, and it's not very much. I think altogether with delivery and pickup is like £20, so for kind of the convenience it makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Rather than having pine needles just decaying everywhere outside the front of the house.
I've been I've been watching a lot of podcasts recently, and people have been talking a lot about like looking ahead to the winter and how we're all going to be inside for a long time and trying to make our homes like as pleasant as possible. And I'm not usually the kind of person, I mean, I don't know, not like it's a specific kind of person, but I just haven't in the past thought even about decorating for seasons, autumn and Halloween. And like I love decorating for Christmas, and it's only been in the last like 5 years that I've started doing that. And I was thinking about it because like when I was growing up, like my mom didn't ever decorate for anything but Christmas, but at Christmas time she went wild, which was awesome. And I guess I had this perception of like, oh, decorations for other holidays are tacky or something. But like Christmas decorations are a little tacky too, but in a way that I completely love, and also my mom had good taste, so it wasn't really that tacky, even though it was a little bit cheesy or something.
Calming.
Yeah. So I've been recently like, really wanting to decorate for Halloween specifically, because like last night I was thinking a lot about oh, what can I do? And, you know, my tendency is always to make something. And I was like, well, I don't have time to do anything for Halloween. And so I might as well get started on Christmas. And then I was just like, oh, I can't, no. Because I still have those mittens and I want to finish them. And I just don't want to start another epic Christmas craft project because I already have a lot going. So I'm going to focus on other seasons and holidays for this year, at least the next year, and see how it goes. I still don't have time to decorate before Halloween, but brought out my sugar
You've already
pumpkin.
done it. You're
This is
there.
the extent. I like this was out in the living room, and I like brought it in here because I was like, I have to like
Yeah.
represent, you know.
You've got the vibe going.
Yeah.
I guess in the UK, like it's not so, I think Christmas is the only thing that people really decorate for here.
Right.
So I have seen a few people like decorate the outside of their houses for Halloween. And it's a really funny one where it was an apartment building and they had a balcony and they had, so in the middle was this pyramid of pumpkins with all different, you know, face carved into them. And then on either side were these two skeletons holding a wine glass, kind of like, well, hey, like having a good time. Like that made me smile.
That's
But the
amazing.
extent that we've gone to getting stuff is, as I went to Asda earlier, and I was very excited to be in Asda. Literally 2 plastic buckets. We're going to put sweets in to go outside the house for socially distanced trick-or-treaters if anyone's going to come around. And then there's this little LED projector candle, so it projects 6 different spooky images onto a wall.
Ooh,
We put that outside as well. It's just an extra
fun.
spook.
Cute.
Oh, and I've got a headband with holographic bat wings. I'm just going to wear it all day because why not?
Because why not? Exactly. That's amazing. I love it.
Oh, we've got pumpkins too, so we some pumpkin carving. That's always good fun.
Yes. One time I got way too involved with a pumpkin carving project, and we were hosting a Halloween party, and it was a Dia de los Muertos skull, and I was like really into like the like it was so intricate, the design, and I was like, I did this thing where I was like only kind of half carved the pumpkin, so you could still, there was still pumpkin flesh, but like, and so I spent and I was using like dentist tools or something, or like an X-Acto knife, you know, it was just, and I got so intense about it that the day of the party, which was Halloween, which was a Friday, I like called in sick to work because I was like, no, I have to finish my pumpkin. I'm sorry.
I feel like we need to see a photo of that pumpkin on the screen right now.
Okay, I'll try to find one for sure. It was amazing, but I've never carved a pumpkin since because I just went way too overboard. And it's like, no.
This is my pumpkin carving for the next few years in one go.
Right. Maybe this is the year that I return and just try to like do a simpler thing. Or a smaller pumpkin. That would work too.
I'll say that one behind you.
This one's a sugar pumpkin, so
you can use it for cooking?
Yeah.
Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
And you're good at making pies.
Thank you. I do love a good pumpkin pie. It's so much easier to like do it from scratch from a real pumpkin than anybody. I mean, I'm the only person who I know who's ever done that. Like,
I mean, I've never heard of that before.
But
in
you
my
just
experience.
Because everybody uses canned pumpkin, but like all you have to do is roast the pumpkin just like you would a regular squash.
Oh.
It takes 40 minutes, you know, and then you use that. And it's so much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was really complicated. That's why people didn't do it. But
No. I mean, I think maybe it's like because the pumpkin is hard to cut or something, or they don't know that you're supposed to use a sugar pumpkin instead of a carving pumpkin because they're different species. One species over here and one species over here.
One's for fun, one's for eating. Not to be confused.
But yeah, I'll give you a recipe. I have a good one.
Yeah, I feel like my brother, Jake likes pumpkin pie actually.
Oh, good.
I'll have to have a go. I mean, Jake likes all kind of pies, really.
Jake,
That's rude. Not in a rude way.
wait, I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
I said Jake likes all kinds of pies, but I just meant, and I said, actually, that sounds rude, like he just eats loads of stuff. But I meant as in he likes cooked fruit and things. I'm not usually a big cooked fruit fan because here most pies are cooked rather than raw. Long explanation, it
Right.
wasn't really needed.
Right. No, I feel like that, I mean, goes speaks to his upbringing in the Bahamas, which is very close to the US.
That's true, yeah. He does have some very
And the
American
US
kind of tastes in that
the
respect.
US are we're pie people, you know. We've had this conversation. I like went on a tirade with Sophie recently about how the Great British Bake Off, like they poo-pooed American pies because they were too sweet. And I was like extremely offended because I've been making pies with my mom since I was a little kid because we had a big family Thanksgiving and Christmas where we would go over to our cousin's house every year. So my nuclear family didn't cook the turkey or stuffing or anything. Our job was always to bring pies, and we brought like pies every year to, you know, like if it was a family of at least like 14 people, so you have to bring more than one pie. And so yeah, every year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, me and my mom made pies, and like sometimes they were pretty sweet, but like I don't know, I have also eaten pies in a diner, like restaurant situation. They were so disgustingly sweet. I was just like, I don't know. I got the feeling that the Great British Bake Off people were talking about those kind of pies and not like
Homemade pies.
homemade. Yeah. And I also don't like overly sweet things. So it's like you can make a pie that's like an authentic American pie that's not that sweet. Like I use honey and maple syrup in a lot of my recipes. I could go on about pies for a long time, but this is a crafting
Yeah.
show,
Lest we forget.
not a food show. Yeah.
What have
Would
you
you
been
like to
making this week?
go
I
first?
You go first. I feel like I always go first. So I'm
Oh,
gonna keep
really?
the sense going about my pile down
I
here.
think I feel like I talk a lot at the beginning, so then I'm like, oh, you go first, like, because I want to be polite, but it's okay, I'll go first. I have a half finished object. Well,
Oh my god.
I mean, this is an object in and of itself, so like maybe it's finished object, but you know, there's
That
only one.
is amazing.
It's just a little sock, it's just a little sock, but it feels so good to have something finished because like last time I was talking a lot about knitting mojo, and it's not that my crafting mojo has disappeared, it's that my desire to read directions on a small screen has disappeared, which had been my way of doing a lot of knitting previously. I decided that I should just focus on this sock because I know how to do socks without instructions, um, which is a thing that I've been thinking it would be a good thing to put on Patreon once we actually get that started, for people who want that kind of information. Of course, it's also widely available on YouTube, but like, you know, sometimes you want something like from a source that is reliable. So yeah, and now I'm just like, I have to look at it on my computer or print it out. Like I don't need to be like, oh, I need an iPad. I mean, I want an iPad, but like, and I'm gonna save up for one, but like, I don't need to impulsively buy an iPad because of knitting instructions. Like I can print out my instructions like I used to when I didn't have a computer, you know?
And sometimes it's easier to look at stuff on an actual page as well. Like you can
Absolutely.
scribble on it, you can like write stuff down.
Yeah, and it's like easier on your eyes. You know, I'm a graphic designer now, so I look at the screen a lot, and which makes sense, you know, it makes sense that like when I'm relaxing in the evening, I don't want to just I mean, like
Yeah.
stare really hard at like a screen.
I also think it's more portable to have like a bit of paper as well. Like sometimes I wish I had stuff printed out. I'm like, oh, why is it on like a digital form? Like I wish I just had like a bit of paper I could just shove in my bag or something
Right.
and take it with me.
Yeah.
Not that
That
I
being
can't take
said,
it with
I
me,
don't
but
really like paper accumulates so easily and clutter really stresses me out. So like that's why I usually use digital patterns, but like until I can save up for an iPad, like it's something I can deal with, like it's gonna be fine. Anyway, don't need to ramble on about that, but I wanted to share my method for this because I don't have to use instructions. It's the same thing every time. I use DPNs. Chowgu DPNs are my favorite. 2.25 millimeter, which is a US 1. 64 stitches. Sometimes I have gone down to a 0 because I'm a loose knitter. It's an Eye of Partridge drop heel and a square toe from the book Sock Architecture, who's the author, I don't remember her name, but I can put it up on the screen. And this toe fits me really well, much better than the conventional toe that a lot of
I love a
other people
sweat
use.
toe.
So that's my sock, and
Is it, have you, is it self-striping
yes,
or do you, nice.
yes, it's a self-striping sock yarn from Mary Maxim. It's called Mary Maxim Step Softly. 75% wool, 25% nylon.
I feel like
Or like,
it's just turned out so nicely. I'm in love with the stripe, like the how the colors fade. You end
thank
up with blue
you.
in the middle.
I think it's cute. Like it's cuter than I expected it to be. And there's so much. So I was talking about how I got this for like $6. There's so much yarn left. Like I think I could get a whole nother pair of socks out of this, or at least like some shorty socks. Anyway, not something I really want to do right now is knit the same pair of socks over again, but in the
You
future
could,
sometime
and that's the point.
I'll be inspired, I'm sure. And then the other thing I have to show is a lot of progress on my pandemic. So I just like loaded up a bunch of needles and
Oh
went for it.
my, that looks so good.
Thank you.
I love that edging on your left hand.
The over here, yeah. I like really wanted to get to the edge and I did. And then I put it down and I was like, okay, this is a good place to stop for now. Tim was
I love
saying
these
like
deep
he
stuff there.
likes this dark border. So I'm considering keeping the dark border, but I don't know if it's too high contrast. I also like already ripped out some here, so.
I do like it. Like I feel like it kind of finishes it nice in the areas where the fabric's lighter. Like it does provide that contrast. I think because the bit that's just below your nose kind of looks a bit lighter, but then in the side, it's your left hand because the fabric you've got that darker patch. It
Yeah,
kind of
it's
stands
darker.
out more.
It's true. It does pick up the dark color. Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah,
now I'm seeing it more. Like I was gonna just leave just this white bird white, but now I'm like, oh, I could add some more white throughout it.
I love it so much. It's gonna.
Thank
You've
you.
done so much.
Thank you. I did yeah, after we podcasted last week, I was just like stitching just on this for a long time. And then I finished this yesterday. But I do like to I realized I do like to knit on something like this, plain, while I'm editing our videos because sometimes there are times when I am just watching it, and I think that if I have something in my hands to occupy like the physical anxiety, over edit, you know, like I realized that like at one point I was over editing just to have something to do during like when I was like 1% bored, you know, like while I was so so yeah.
I love a sock knit as well. I like my comfort go-to knits. Like when I don't know what else to knit, like sock knitting is just that reliable. Like you always need socks. They're just nice to knit. I love DPNs as well. To be fair, I've never done sock on a magic loop. We've had this conversation before, and I don't mind the magic loop. Like I use it for other things, but I just really like knitting on DPNs. And you know what? I'm not ashamed.
Me
Some
neither.
people put down on DPN knitters. And it's not that we can't do the other techniques. It's just that if you have one that works for you, why would you change it and do something else?
Right. And like I've gotten I figured out a way to like, so first of all, it's important that you only use 3 needles instead of 4
That's what
to
I was going to ask you.
hold them. I mean, you're using 4 because you're knitting with the 4th one, but that makes a huge difference, first of all. And then secondly, when you're switching to the next needle, don't drop your yarn.
Yes. Keep the tension.
Keep the tension, and then it's so much faster, like than magic loop, because and I think that when I realized I shouldn't drop my yarn, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so fast, like I'm so fast, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I genuinely have knit a sock on DPNs in like a day before now.
Yeah.
Half a day. Like yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I knit from here
a magic loop on them as
to
well.
here yesterday.
Amazing. I love the eye partridge heel as well. I've never done one, and it's on my to-do list to do one.
Oh, that's my go-to.
It looks so pretty.
What do you usually do?
Well, lately I've just been doing a slip stitch, just like the reinforced kind of thicker one. I tend to just follow whatever's in the pattern though, to be honest.
Oh, like this, you're slipping the same stitch.
Yeah, so it creates like a kind of a stripe. Or I just do a plain knit if I'm being lazy and I can't be bothered to, I just want to like get it done, because for me the heel flap is like the tedious part of sock knitting. Like I really like heel flaps, they fit me the best. So you did a heel flap and put it in afterwards? Did you? No, you just used yarn because you don't want to mess up the stripes.
Right. I didn't put it in afterwards, but you can't do that.
Like, oh God, what is this?
And I was like, I have put in heels after the fact before, but short row heels. But you can do a heel flap. It's possible, I think.
I bought some sock yarn the other day, so maybe I'll show you that.
Oh yeah.
In the cupboard though, I haven't got it out. I remember, you know, we were talking about not on camera, so off in like our knit night group chat. We were talking about different kind of commercial brands of yarn, and I forgot to mention West Yorkshire Spinners, which I've kind of rediscovered. Mm-hmm. Basically, I went into John Lewis the other day in Cheltenham, and I didn't realise John Lewis Cheltenham had a haberdashery section. So I pretty much collapsed / exploded with joy of like, oh my God, wool. And it's not a big department, and it basically is the only good stuff really is Rowan. When I say good stuff, things that I personally would really like to use. Obviously, whatever you want to use. Rowan, West Yorkshire Spinners, and they've got some Navita yarn as well. And I completely forgot about West Yorkshire Spinners kind of existing, which sounds a bit rude. They have some great wool, and it seems so reasonable in comparison. I mean, I'm kind of used to hand-dyed prices, so everything will seem a bit more reasonable due to the work that goes into hand-dyed yarn. But I realised that I could make a jumper with Rowan wool for, I think, under £60, which for a hand knit, 100% wool jumper is really, really good.
Yeah.
And I got 100-gram ball of West Yorkshire Spinner sock wool, so the same makeup as yours. I think it cost me £7 something, which I thought was really good. So again, you probably get 2 pairs of socks out of that.
Yeah.
Good value. So So I'd really recommend them. They have a good selection of colours. Let me grab it now, and then I can show you. Because basically, I always make socks for my father-in-law every Christmas because he's a big hand-knitted sock fan.
Mm.
Oh yeah, you can see my yarn cupboard.
Cute.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Or is hidden, should I say. Oh, Lucas just drank out my glass of water. Yes, this is where signature 4-ply.
Oh, cute. I love that.
And it's so 35% blue face Leicester, 75%, but generally 75% wool, 25% nylon, made in Yorkshire.
I love Blueface Leicester. I've never used West Yorkshire spinners.
No, it feels really nice. It's got like a good texture.
I've heard of it,
I've never used it before. So I will report back. I'm planning on casting some on maybe this week or next week to get started on some Christmas knitting.
I'm like excited to see how that pattern knits up.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
That's gonna be super cute.
It also had some crazy, I can only describe it as like Elton John kind of colorway, like a psychedelic sort of carnival of color that I really wanted to get. And I was like, maybe I'll start off with a sensible colorway first. It's still really nice. And then see if I can get him into wearing, maybe my brother would like the carnival one. It was like all these bright pinks and reds, and maybe I'll have to go back. I'll knit this one first. I'm trying to be better about knitting stuff before I buy things. We'll see if it happens.
If you're ever looking for a gift for your dear friend Emily, English sock yarn that I can't get here.
Oh yeah, well there we go.
Is a good one.
I'll bear that in mind.
Not that I'm asking for a gift or anything. I'm just saying
it's noted.
I do love commercial sock yarn because like I love hand-dyed yarn, but I just feel like commercial sock yarn holds up better to wear.
Yeah.
It just does.
It's just, for something that generally will be in shoes, it sometimes feels a waste to have gorgeous hand-dyed wool kind of rubbing around in your trainers.
Yeah.
Like for longevity purposes, as you're saying, it seems
exactly.
Like,
BFL though, I love BFL. I think that might be my favorite wool.
Well, you can imagine how it feels then.
I know. I am imagining.
Yeah, I'll send you a link and then you can see all the colorways. Though I feel like they're now you can get, I think, West Yorkshire spinners in some places in America. I feel like I saw them on Love Crafts the other day. But maybe, I don't know if that was the US or the UK site.
Probably. Oh, that's right. They do have two different.
Yeah, but maybe worth. I'll research it and I'll put it in our show notes.
That's a good idea.
There we go. There's my task for today.
Good idea. And if any, I imagine people watching this might also have suggestions about where to get it.
Please tell us.
So if you do, please let me know.
Do you want to see what else I've been making, Emily?
Yes, please.
So I'm not going to show you my shawl this week because I haven't really done anything on it. Instead, I cast on something new because why finish something when you can start something else?
Exactly right.
So I cast on my Hallie jumper from.
So cute.
I haven't got very far. It's going to be the neck. So I've got a few more inches or a couple more inches to knit, but it's super fuzzy. I don't know if you can.
I love it. Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Twisted rib, tubular cast on. I have to say, this is my second time doing the long tail tubular cast on, and I really like it. It's so much easier than another cast on method that I used before, which would be the one that Brooklyn Tweed have in their fort jumper. I just found really complicated, and I feel like this makes way more sense to me anyway. How to do it, just gives such a nice edge.
Did you have trouble with it twisting?
No, so I've learned from the last time I did it just to make sure I hold all my stitches as I go, and I try and keep all the stitches on the needle rather than letting them slip onto the cable. So I'm wondering if it might even be easier to basically cast the stitches on a straight needle and then move it on to circulars afterwards, which I feel is like what I would do next time.
I was just gonna say, so my mom joined Knit Night the last week, and she, first of all, it was a glorious moment when Christine explained how Reddit works to my mom. Christine is a member of our knit group, but she like explained it in detail. And first, and like I was like, oh, I actually didn't really know how Reddit worked,
Yeah, I
but
know.
um, it was also really sweet that I don't know, it's just a nice moment. And but so my mom is making a weekender. It's her second sweater ever. And since the pandemic started, her knitting skills have improved like a lot, and I'm very proud of her. And when we were at knit night, we were talking about her sweater, and she was like, oh, the tubular cast on was so hard. And I'm like, yeah, it's not just you. Like that's a really hard cast on. And then she said that she did it on straight needles, and I was like, Mom, did you like hear that from somebody, or did you just think of it yourself? And she was like, I thought of it myself. And I was like, ah, you're so smart, that's amazing. I was very, very proud.
Marianne's on it. She knows.
So yeah.
Yeah, I would say straight needles is the way forward. I don't know why I didn't think of that last time. It's so much easier.
Well, I've never thought of it.
It's only because I think last time I had to restart it because they kept slipping down here and then twizzling around. And I was like, oh my God, I thought it was a pearl and now it's turned into a knit. And what the hell is going
Yeah,
on?
it's really hard to read the stitches with a tubular cast
I
on.
mean, luckily, this is only 100 stitches. I mean, if it was any longer, then I feel like it would have been a lot harder because I guess the more stitches you have, the more chance there is of it twisting. Yeah, it's going to be like a little funnel neck. And then I don't know what comes after this. It's got German short rows in. I know that much. I've read that far ahead in the pattern, so I'm sure there'll be some challenges with those. I've never done German short rows before.
They're easier than wrap and turn short
Okay.
rows. So
Oh,
yeah.
well, that's okay then. I was getting nervous. Oh my gosh. What does this terminology mean? There was like this one thing I had to Google. It was like DB or something. I was like, I don't know what this abbreviation
Hmm.
is. No, DS.
I
I'll
don't.
find out. This is what YouTube was made for.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I can't do anything, I just YouTube it.
Right. Me too.
Doesn't. Another thing I made, Emily,
A cute little crochet basket.
yeah, a little crochet, got little handles going on as well.
It's adorable.
I had size comparison.
Is
So
it? What kind of yarn is it?
I'm not sure. It's got a bit of stretch to it. It looks kind of like
Mm.
a knitted, like a chain sort of, I don't really know what the technical term is.
Chain play, I think.
Yeah, but it's definitely is stretchy. Like it had a good amount of give when crocheting it.
That's so cute. It looks really good.
Factory. And this just took me maybe like an hour or so. It was really quick. Again, I love an instant gratification project.
Yeah. What's the pattern?
I have more to show. Oh, no, I haven't sewn the ends in yet, so you can
Oh,
almost yarn better.
yeah.
But this was my mother-in-law actually gave me this kit. So basically around at theirs. I was like, oh, I didn't bring my knitting. I have nothing to do. And she's like, oh, you can do one of these. I have two kits from an Instagram person, which I'll try and find the name for right now because it should be in my search, from Stitching Me Softly. So it comes with two different colors in the kit. And she basically said, oh, I sort of gave up halfway through with mine, so you're welcome to make one, Sophie. I was like, oh, of course. So now I'm thinking I'm going to finish off the other one for her. Not that I'm amazing at crochet, but I can, just
I'm impressed.
probably up to a treble. You know me, I dabble, but I'm not like super amazing crocheter. And then what do I have in the basket?
What do you have in the basket?
Well, I made some lavender bags
Cute.
over the weekend. I finally used this cotton and steel fabric that I bought from the Brooklyn Craft Company, literally probably this time last year, on a trip to New York.
I love it.
Yeah.
I see that you have your little branded tag on it.
Well, of course, Sophie's knit.
Does that mean you're giving them?
I might give some as gifts over Christmas. But basically, the other thing is I have so many tags. I just feel like I have to tag everything, even if it's going in my own wardrobe. Just to kind of use them up, because I don't know why I thought I would need like 100 of them or something.
Did you get them in New York or when you were here?
No, they're from a lady on Instagram, not on Instagram, on Etsy, whose name I can't remember, but I'll see, I can send her to you. She's made me some other ones before, and she's really quick. I'll also put it in the description box. Every time I've ordered from her, I've been so impressed with the delivery and just the quality of her things. And you can basically have the tag however you want as well in terms of layout. Even if she hasn't got it listed on her site, she's happy to print it however you want it. She's really, really good. I wish I could remember her name, but it'll be there. Yeah, so I'm quite impressed myself. I did a little piecing, I did some, what do you call it, chain piecing or something. Because I'm Laura's a quilter, so I think she's secretly trying to get me into quilting because she recommended this pattern. I was just going to do a basic lavender bag, and I just used up these old Chanel sparkly Christmas ribbons I had. I made a whole load of those. I only have a few here that I've actually filled, but I have altogether, I think it was like 16 or something that I made. Because I just got way too into it watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Sunday morning.
The movie or the show?
The show. I've rediscovered it on Amazon Prime, and I've seen it all before many times. I was like, oh, what should I watch? I just want something kind of comforting and just like an easy watch. I suppose Buffy isn't necessarily a comforting, easy watch, but I feel like it is.
Oh my god, it totally is. Yeah.
It's just like all like great like 90s clothes. Makes me want to wear leather jackets and cool sunglasses. Well, cool back in the day sunglasses.
Yeah.
And kick some vampire butt.
That's right.
I'm just waiting for the Angel Buffy romantic situation to get started. He's only turned up twice so far. I'm like, come on. Yeah, it just makes me laugh as the librarian. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying that. So it was a great morning. Nice. Yeah, I've still got so much lavender to use up, so I think I'm gonna have to make literally like 100 bags to use it all up. Because it came out of the garden, so crazy amount.
That's amazing. A wealth of lavender.
A wealth. The whole study, I moved up into the study and all it just like stinks of lavender.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it does last for quite a long time, but then I just put lavender oil on them just to refresh them. Is this quite a British thing to do? I don't know.
I have cedar sachets. No, it's not just British, but I mean, I feel like a lavender sachet is common here. I don't have one. I haven't. Well, I actually do have a teeny one that I like purchased or was gifted to me. Not that I've made. And the cedar ones that I have are like, so we went to, a couple of summers ago, we went to Maine and they were selling cedar pillows, little sachets. And one of them was like a sort of Maine, I should just get them. So a couple of years ago, we went to Maine and we stopped by this little tourist like gift shop, and there was this adorable thing, and
That
I was like,
is amazing.
I need that. Like, this is coming home with me. And then we went to the Swans Island factory, not factory. They had, but like it was a store. Yeah, but they had, it was their dye studio actually. So like I asked and I got to tour the dye studio, which was amazing. Swans Island is just like a local kind of semi-commercial kind of small business yarn in the Northeast of the United States, but they also, I didn't realize, they weave wool blankets that they sell, and they're really expensive, but gorgeous. And then at the Swans Island store, they had these little cedar sachets that were like offcuts or whatever from their woven blankets. So this is like hand woven wool from Swans Island. And it's still, I mean, it was years ago and it still smells amazing. And then, so I bought this one for myself. And then as we were leaving the store, like Tim surprised me and had bought like the big one for me. And it was so nice. Yeah,
That's
he's the
so cool.
best gifter.
They're really gorgeous.
So I just want like a million of them because,
I feel like yours are bigger. Maybe I made mine too small. I need to go big. I need to
well,
think.
I have a small one too. I mean, I feel like it's nice to have like, as far as wool protection goes, it's nice to have a lot of them because, I
I
mean,
never have too many.
protect a lot of different stuff. But yeah, I've been wanting to make these for a while. I just don't know where to get cedar, I guess. But you could probably order it somewhere.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the cedar like as blocks and things before. Like I've never seen it in a pouch. I'm
I
intrigued.
should I should
I feel like you need to, now I feel as though I need to basically, I know I keep banging on about embroidery. I'm so close to getting those napkins. We need to hand embroider matching, or not matching, but basically need to do the same thing, but in with different stuff on.
mhm.
Does it make any sense?
Yeah.
Basically, we need to both make cedar pouches and embroider them.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Yeah. It's like a cedar pouch sew along at
That
some
sounds really good. Yeah. Okay, so next week we'll announce the rules of our cedar stitch along.
or lavender,
Yeah,
you know, sort of
if we are able to get our,
scented wool protection sew
yeah,
along.
I like it. Well, is that everything? Do you have anything else
Yeah, I
to?
mean, I said a big pile, but it was actually quite a small pile. But I feel as though I definitely have my craft mojo back. I think I
Oh,
just
good.
got project and doing all these other things. I feel
Yeah,
reinvigorated.
yeah, yeah. I feel like I've been rotating, and a lot of times I do that, and I'm like, I get bored, and I'm like, I really want to start something new, and I like buy something, but for some reason, which is I'm grateful for it. Like some reason, like every time I start to go down that road mentally, I'm like overwhelmed because like I have a lot of craft supplies. So it's like been an interesting, it's been interesting to observe my own like creative impulses because usually that is like the source of dopamine, like you get a rush from like planning a new craft project and like buying supplies, and then that's what you're doing that for, and like sometimes the craft itself is not as thrilling. And like for years I think that I have felt guilty about that and like maybe tried to because it's spending.
Yeah.
And but I don't know, recently I just am not even wanting to spend any money on anything new. So not even like wishing I had the money to spend on something new, just like I have too much. I need to
Yeah.
do it. But that also means that, like, you know, there is no dopamine hit along the way because I really like big, intricate projects. So that was why this little thing, like this finish, felt so good. It was so like, so that's a, I mean, good thing to think about when you lose your mojo a little bit. Like sometimes you just need a finish. Tim always says you need to put a win on the board, which
I like that.
I
That's
think
so
is a
true.
good, yeah, yeah. So
I think that's what these projects gave me of like, I just
yeah,
got the things finished. It just felt, because that, I mean, shawls by nature take a while, like longer to knit,
yeah,
and I'm probably going slower and putting it off because I got bored. But
yeah.
yeah,
That one has so much lace in it
mornings,
too.
like not even that much time, like you just have to get stuff done.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was like, I've got things to show.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Cool.
Well, I liked your things that you showed a lot. Thank you for sharing them.
Well, thank you for watching and enjoying them.
You're welcome.
And to
Um,
everyone who is also watching
yes,
and hopefully enjoying.
yes. Thank you so much for your time, spending a little time with us. I hope that we brought a little bit of joy to your fall season and that we can continue bringing you entertainment throughout the winter when we're all going to be stuck inside. And stay safe. And until next week, don't forget to
Take it slow.
take it slow. That's our motto, not keep it slow.
Keep it slow, take it
Yeah,
slow. Just basically slow.
go slow. Bye, guys.
Bye.